Look, Belly's, as Cameron said, he's a guy who was incredibly courageous, incredibly tough, and his will to win and his will to play was right up there. So we support him, and it's not just Daniel, but all players in the AFL deserve the support, and that's why the AFLPA's position is where it is. And we hope that grows and gets better for the the security and the health of all the players who play. So we're not only behind Belly, but we're working with him. So I'm sure he'll come out of it better, and the AFLPA and the football industry will be seen to be supporting one of their own.
You going to name James tonight?
I'm not sure yet. We've got our main training sessions tomorrow, so he'll have to get through tomorrow's training session. All indicators, to be honest with you, are that he'll probably more likely play. But that last session being on the Friday will be the final test. But he's hit all the markers that our medical want him to, our fitness have, and certainly our kicking, etc. So if he gets through unscathed tomorrow, but we'll put him through his paces tomorrow. There's no point taking someone in with any question marks over him.
Because he'd likely go to Buddy if he was to play. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think himself, Gal and Rivers. Rivers has played on Buddy before. Garlo's played on Buddy before, and so has Chipper. So we've got three guys to pick from. So first game back, I'm sure Chipper really enjoys the challenge. So if he gets through training tomorrow, I'm sure he'll be putting his hand up to play on Buddy.
Garland's had a pretty good record against him in the past and did pretty well last week. Is he the first option, do you think?
Yeah, I think the three that I just mentioned are all going to get an opportunity. I think he's just he's a difficult player where he plays. He's not, as you saw last week, he's not just a deep forward. He plays high forward. He gets up through the middle of the ground. He's got great endurance. He's got great speed, and things happen when he gets the football. Things happen. So we've got a little bit versatile in our thinking with him. But any one of those three, and Garlo, I thought his performance last week was good on goods, and Chipper's game on him last year was also very good. So we've got a couple of blokes who are keen to take up the challenge.
First game that Cameron Bruce is playing against the club as well. Obviously, he was such an important part of the club for a long time. Who's likely to run with him?
I don't know. I have to ring Clarko and find out where Bruce is playing, and then when I find that, there's no doubt that Cameron will be playing anywhere from halfback, on ball. But look, Cameron's been a very good servant to Melbourne, to be fair, and he's in a Hawthorn jumper this weekend, and we'll be very, very keen. They're obviously a team that's heading for top 4 position, the Hawks, with their drafting. So it's a great challenge for us, and he's no longer with us. So therefore, he's wearing a different jumper this weekend. So our attitude and approach will be exactly the same as it was last week. And every week we get a chance to play against all teams. We expect our players to perform. So we're a little bit more worried about us, but obviously Cameron will be keen to do well, and so will we.
I'm Daniel Bell. As a coach, how difficult a decision is it regarding sending a player back on who may have had concussion?
Medical will always override. I don't have a degree in any medical at all, so it's very easy for me to get the response from the doctors, get the opinions from the doctors, and if they say this is the situation from our expertise, then we'll always go with the doctor's thoughts, no question. And they'll be conservative because that's the nature of what they do. So we're very comfortable with what we've done this year, with the new sub rule, with concussion, everything. So the doctor will have the final word. How
did you feel you coped with the new sub rule on the weekend? Do you learn a lot from having a go at it in the season proper?
Yeah, I think you do. I think it'll still be. I still have a firm opinion that if you use it purely as a tactic, then you do open yourself up to end up having only 2 on the bench. If you use it as a tactical ploy, but there's also where the game is at. If you need a change or you need a spark for whatever the reason, then that's probably going to be the risk to use it from a tactical point of view. But you look what Collingwood did, and they're in a fortunate position where they actually had 21 playing well, so they didn't need to use it. They actually had it there for an injury. So that's always going to be the debate. Some weeks you'll get away with it, and some weeks you'll get caught out. But tactical versus the injury position is going to be the great challenge. And last week we used Ricky Pettard, and but you can see different clubs using different types, but the guys with some sort of flexibility I think will still be the ones that'll get in that sub situation.
Do you try and rotate different players through the sub position every week just to make sure that they're getting even game time?
Yeah, it's a good question. We've certainly looked at doing that. So we've certainly discussed the opportunity of keeping certain players continually playing, coming through that role. So that might be something that clubs will end up doing, because again, it also determines whether you use it as a tactic or you use it as an injury, but that's certainly a point we've discussed. Yeah.
Dean, I think you're none from 5 as a coach against the Hawks. What is it about them that's so tough?
None from 5. Yeah, we haven't won a lot of games in the last 3 years, but I think our last game last year, we got the MCG, was a very good sign. We were certainly in the game, you know, with I think a Hodgson Burgoyne goal. I think in the last 8 minutes of the game that determined the 20 point loss. So up till then, I thought both teams were pretty evenly matched. We got, this is always a new season. I think you always are challenged by your performance and the the players you've got available right now. So the 0-5, whatever the stats are, to some degree nice for a historical point of view. But I don't think that really tells the case when you run out in the ground and play on Sunday. It's who you've got available, whether we're in good form, and we're round 2. And I thought they played particularly well last week going over to Adelaide. Amy's a very difficult stadium to win at, and they played well. So they'll be certainly keen to do well, and we're very, very keen to get over the line. So I think it all goes well for a pretty close contest. So our players are ready for the challenge, and we need to take the game on.
Any insights at all from the result in Launceston?
No, not really, because there's so many guys getting interchanged and rotated through. I know that, and the obvious is that Surioli's a very good player, and his third quarter down at Launceston was very good. Chance Bateman's third quarter was very good as well. So, and those guys are going to be targeted anyway every week just because of how good they are and how effective they are in the game. So, they're a team I think can kick quick goals because of their forward structure, but if you start talking too much about them, you forget about what we're trying to do. So our boys are really keen for the challenge, and we'd like to think that come Sunday we'll come out of it and we'll be really firing on all cylinders.